Doing a theory crafting live stream today. Can't do a full card review where I sit down like normal. So we're going to do the card review live on stream. It's not going to be as organized or professional as normal. We're just going to talk through each card. Kind of first reactions, much faster pace than normal. And I'll just do star ratings as we go. No quick reviews at the end.
Hey, buddy, watch this.
So up first here, just starting from the bottom, is Wing Commander. It's a new Dragon Synergy card. It's basically like a Chill Wind Yeti plus. It's 4 mana 2/5, but it gains attack for dragons in your hand. So if you have 4 dragons in your hand, it gains 8
Talk
attack.
loudly so I can hear you from the shower, and it's definitely not weird to try to watch.
It's a little weird
I
to
stream
watch
in
me
the
from the
shower.
shower. Little weird. Little weird. So, I mean, theoretically, you know, this could be like a 10/5, or even bigger. It could be like a 15/5. The challenge for that, right, is that on turn 4, when you would be excited to play a high attack minion, this health is just not sticky enough. There's so many things that will deal with a 5 health unit that the attack upside probably doesn't matter. It doesn't help you trade up. It's rarely going to hit face, I think. So, despite the fact that I think this would reliably get to 10 plus attack, it's just too susceptible. It's just too susceptible. So I think that means we're looking at a 2-star card there. So next up, the Utgarde Grapplesniper. This is a 6 mana 5/5. Am I in the frame, by the way, of the cards? No, I need to lean this way. Battlecry, both players draw a card. If it's a dragon, summon it. I think giving your opponent cards, even at the upside of gaining a dragon over them, is really not going to be something you want to do, or even spend 6 mana on. Even in a dragon deck, you're running a fair number of big dragons. I mean, you could put this in like a big dual paladin like we built, but I don't know. I just don't see it. I think this will be more awkward and 2 conditional and probably a 2-star card. So, moving on to the Troll Batrider, 4 mana 3/3. Battlecry, deal 3 damage to a random enemy minion. I did see this one on the live stream. Crip was talking about it in Battlecry Shaman. I don't really see that. I think Battlecry Shaman wants to have that flexibility to go face to kill their opponent. I think this does look like a very solid arena card, which is typically where Crip lives. I don't know that in Constructed this will be worth it for most decks. It's fine. It's like, you know, comparable to other mid-game minion clear sorts of things, but other cards just do bigger, better, more specific and consistent things, right? So this, again, maybe looks like a 2-star card, although you could almost give this one 3 stars, I think, because it certainly doesn't feel bad, but I don't know what deck's going to make room for this. If it's not Battlecry Shaman, who finds a home for this? And I don't think Battlecry Shaman does. So I would say 2-star card. Next up, we have...
Good
who else is new?
Regis.
Hey, Danglepeen, thanks, man. Good afternoon to you. Next up, we have the Scalerider, a 3 mana 3/3. Battlecry, if you're holding a dragon, deal 2 damage. Now, see, I like this one way better because, number 1, you can target it. Number 2, it can go face, which some decks care about. That flexibility is important. This feels a bit like a neutral, like SI7 agent. Actually, even comparable to the, what was that? The bird, the 4 mana 3/3, like elemental bird that dealt 2. But it does have a dragon condition. Now, the question is, will a dragon deck come along that cares about like early game tempo plays like this? Fireplume, yes. Fireplume Phoenix, thank you. It's basically that, but a mana cheaper. That card was fine. It got a tiny little bit of constructed play, not a ton. Really good in Arena. The challenge, right, is will a dragon deck care about early game tempo enough to run this? It's not a dragon itself, so it could hurt consistency there some. I mean, we see SI7 Agent get played. I think this has a little bit too tight of a condition, but still reasonable. So I would say this looks like a 3-star card, because I don't think most dragon decks would want to run this, but I certainly could see a fringe case here or there where a real deck does find room for that card. Next up is the Parachute Brigand. This is a 2 mana 2/2 pirate. After you play a pirate, summon this minion from your hand. That's intriguing. So a free 2/2 body in an environment that's probably going to try to be fairly aggressive. And by the way, I'm literally live reacting to this. I've never seen this card before. That's cool. The one challenge for this is that you just give up a lot of resources. Like your hand empties itself out really quickly. And I don't know if a 2/2 is enough to make up for that resource sacrifice. Like, even in a hyper aggro deck, you still need stuff in hand to make moves. and to make plays. It's not exactly patches, because patches came from your deck, which means you didn't lose resources in hand. This one, you lose the resources in hand, which I think is going to be an issue. And I don't know if a 2/2 goes far enough. Like, yes, if you have the perfect, like, South Sea Captain follow-up, maybe this does something. But I feel like Rogue and Warrior are the classes that would want to run this the most. And I think they're both a little bit too resource choked already. Double Bloodsail Raider on turn 4 with 2 of these in your hand. I still feel like that just gets wiped away by so many things. I don't really see this one getting there. I don't really know why this would be played. I mean, it's a free 2/2, sure. Feels like Keleseth with a pirate condition. Keleseth? I would say patches, but bad. That's what I would say. What happened to my eye? What do you mean? Something wrong with my eye? Oh, there's a spot of, like, fog on my glasses. That's all. I just got out of the shower, so sometimes they fog up after I get out of the shower. Nothing wrong with my eye. I see what you mean, though. It'll clear up. I could clean it here in a second, but I'm not going to. It's insane if you play a 1-drop on turn 1, but that's about it. Yes, if you play a 1-mana pirate on turn 1, this does give you a fairly substantial advantage, but I feel like that advantage falls off really fast, and it hurts you for the rest of the game. Sleeper OP. I don't see it. I feel like Dread Corsair is a comparable sort of thing, because often Dread Corsair you play for free. But number 1, you control when you play it. Number 2, it's got taunt and bigger stats. I just don't really like this. I'm going to say 2 stars, guys. I clearly a hotly debated one. I may be wrong. I love being wrong, so being wrong means we learn. Ooh, Hoard Pillager. That's cool. 4-mana, 4/2 pirate. Equip one of your destroyed weapons. That sounds amazing. The challenge for this card, right, is that if you haven't played a weapon yet, then you're not going to get any value. But once you have, this is really solid. The body's like okay because you're getting a weapon, and theoretically a good weapon, like a 3-mana, 4-mana, 5-mana weapon. There's like even specific synergies for decks that like have some kind of awesome weapon. I mean, you think about like Jade Claws for Jade Shaman and Wild format. They already love that sort of thing. This could do the exact kind of thing. I mean, in Jade Shaman specifically, I guess, that one is Kobold Pillager, and you like that because you get the Battle Cry, it gets added back to your hand. So that's not a perfect example. You wouldn't want to use this in that deck, but similarly, if you had a weapon that you didn't care about its Battle Cry effect, this would be perfect. Like, just insane extra pressure. I guess one kind of check or choke point on this is that you already sometimes have too many weapons, but you wouldn't have to if you had a card like this. You wouldn't have to. You could just run this instead of an additional weapon. That maybe increases the consistency of your draw. It does curve very nicely with 3-mana, 3/2 weapons. Sure, this just looks really solid. Oh, oh yeah, I gave the star card. I'd say this is a 4-star card. I like this. 4-star card. Surprised to see that. All right, so this came out earlier this morning, but I haven't reviewed it yet. It is the Faceless Corruptor, 5-mana, 5/4 rush. And Battlecry, transform one of your minions into a copy of this. People really, really like this card from the reactions I saw. I think it's good. I'm not quite as high on it as most people. Most people are saying it's, New Quest Druid, it's better than Fungalmancer, it's like Bone Mare comparisons, because you can give like a 1/1, a big stat gain. I think Bone Mare is an irresponsible comparison first off, because it can't go face. It's got rush, not charge, the minion you transform. Fungalmancer is a far more reasonable comparison because you need minions on board to make Fungalmancer good. You need a minion on board to make this good. It gives it a buff, but it still can't go face like Fungalmancer, which is what I think the decks that are playing these sorts of things want to do. You would drop that Fungalmancer buff and you just hit the face for an extra 4. This one you're not hitting the face for an extra 4. I mean, you can still attack face first and then buff it and you get extra stats, but it's still good. Like a lot of decks can stick a 1/1. Even and the good news is, even if you didn't stick a 1/1, if you have 6 mana, like you could play a Lackey, get the Lackey effect, and then use this to follow it up, which is really, really nice. So I think it's a good card. I just am not saying it's the best card in the set like some people. It's not like Oasis Surgery exactly, though, because you got to have a minion. It's close when it hits. Still not quite as good at 4 health, right? So it's not a 5 mana Oasis Surger, because you have to have at least another minion, which requires some kind of mana or resource to play. So it's like a 2-card Oasis Surger in some ways. But still, I think it's still a good card. I'm not saying it's a bad card. I'm just saying, to me, it's not like a 5-star instant card. I think it's more like 3.5 to 4 stars, but I'll say 4 stars on this one, because I do think with lackeys out there, a card like this can just generate the battlecry value of the lackey and then turn the lackey into an onboard resource as well for like tempo decks, which is pretty nice. Next up is Evasive Wyrm. I did catch this one on the stream. 6 mana, 5/3 dragon, Divine Shield, Rush. Can't be targeted by spells or hero powers. I wonder if this is a teaser that they're going to give the this text line evasive in the future. Who knows? Could be. I don't actually know that. I'm not like teasing you or saying like, I know secrets. If that's a thing, I don't know about it. But anyway, this is kind of like an Argent Commander sort of card that can't go face, but instead trades into minions, which is often what Argent Commander did anyway. Only rarely was that something you were excited to go face. Maybe back in like even Paladin days. But this looks really solid. Just a good removal tool. Definitely an arena style card, but even in constructed, I think because it can't be targeted, there is a chance for this to make play in dragon decks, because it's just kind of annoying to deal with. It's often going to go 2 for 1 pretty easily, or even sometimes more than that. And 2 for 1 specifically with minions, not cards, because they can't use like spells to remove it, and some decks might care about that. So, I mean, I don't think this makes the cut in most decks, but it's a playable card, and that means basically 3 stars to me. Like some deck out there could add 1 or 2 of these. It's going to be like a tier 2 or tier 3 deck. So not a meta significant card probably, but a meta possible card. Moving on to the Evasive Feywing. It's a 4 mana 5/4. It's like a scary fairy dragon. And similarly, it can't be targeted by spells or hero powers. So it is basically just fairy dragon, but doubled almost. And unfortunately, I don't really think this is that good. It's like totally fine in arena. It's because, you know, just vanilla stat line. You're probably not upset if you get it off your Dragon Queen Alexstrasza. It's just a body you toss into the board. But I don't see any reason a constructed deck would run this. The can't be targeted is not significant enough. Most minions that removed in the early game are removed via trading, not via like efficient spell removal or anything that this would deny. So I would rather just run like Scale Worm or whatever in the same slot in a dragon deck. So I would say this is just a 2-star card. Spooky 2-star card. Moving on to the Dragonmaw Poacher. This is this card. A 4 mana 4/4 and Battlecry. If your opponent controls a dragon, gain 4/4 and Rush. So it's a 4 mana 8/8 with Rush. I mean, come on. So it's a tech card, right? Like, it's only good in dragon metas, and only good specifically if your opponent has dragons on board, which is a pretty significant, like, check, because, to be frank, like, even if you're playing a dragon deck, there are going to be instances where you have 4 mana, and they have an empty board, and you don't really want to play this. You probably don't feel terrible playing it, because it's a 4 mana 4/4, and it's like, well, okay, I'm gonna bite the bullet and play it. So maybe that makes it good, because its absolute worst case condition is like kind of okay, and its absolute best case condition is like ridiculously overpowered. It's sort of great at answering like Twilight Drakes as well. Most Twilight Drakes would be like 8 health or less. They're usually like 4/6, 4/7, 4/8. Occasionally, you know, bigger, but often clearable by this. The question for me is, how many dragon decks are running like 3 and 4 mana dragons to make this really good? And what kind of deck plays this? Is it a tempo deck? Does a control deck run it just for an early game play? Does like a mid-range Highlander deck play this? Maybe, yeah. Maybe. Pretty good arena card, I bet, yeah. Especially with all the new dragons. Probably dependent on the arena pool or whatever. Are they still doing arena pools? I don't even know. I don't do arena at all anymore. So I would say, I'm actually just going to say 3-star card. I think that'll trigger some people who want it to be like 5 stars. But I think the conditionality of it and the deck context of it do actually limit the application of this. I don't envision this being something that every deck runs to counter dragons, right? I think only some decks will make room for this. Maybe you could say 4 stars. I think that would be reasonable. It's probably like 3.5 is where I'd feel comfortable. But I'm gonna just give it 3 stars for now. I don't think it gets there. By the way, apparently this is gonna get played a lot according to Deniala, which blows my mind. If that's the best invoke card, that makes me nervous for for Galakrond decks. So here we have Blowtorch Regis. This is just me in the artwork here. 3 mana, 3/4. Battlecry. Your opponent's next hero power costs 3. You know, this is a fine arena card, but I don't really ever think this makes the move inconstructed. It's just a 1 mana penalty to the hero power. It is cool that it persists, so it's like, you know, it lasts 5 turns if they don't ever hit their button. But how many hero powers are so significant right now that you're willing to try to counter them? I mean, it's got the Spider Tank stats, which are always fine, but nowadays it's not enough. You know, you have to do something more significant or fit your deck plan better, which means this probably just falls to the wayside. It's totally fine if it just appears in your hand, but you don't run it in your deck, so 2 stars. Moving on to the big ol' whelp. He is a fatty. I've never identified more with a card in my life.
Regis. These cards have been so crazy opt
Yeah,
out
dude,
they
I
seem
guess.
like custom cards.
I guess so,
I
yeah.
personally love it.
It's pretty wild, dude. I'm hesitantly excited. I'll put it that way. Hesitantly excited. So, big ol' whelp. 5 mana, 5/5. Battlecry, draw a card. It's a dragon. This is basically an Azure Drake. And, I mean, Azure Drake had spell damage, right? But most of the time you didn't really care that Azure Drake had spell damage. It would occasionally matter in, like, Druid, yes. But it wasn't why you were running the card. So, I'll be honest. Like, if I look at this in a vacuum right now and I'm just, like, not thinking about historical precedent, I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine. I'm like not that excited about it. But then when I think, oh, this is maybe just strictly better than Azure Drake for most decks.
I think you wore a yellow shirt on purpose to more identify with this card.
Wow, dude. Wow, dude. Brutal. Maybe so. Maybe so. Brutal, though. I don't have purple eyes or a pile of bones on my pooch. But, you know. Uncivil Engineer. Yeah, probably got gifted from Play Hearthstone or Pyro, man. Congrats, and thank you for hanging around. So, here's the deal, though. Like, so I would have probably said 3 stars on this if I didn't know Azure Drake existed and was one of the most played cards of all time. But since I do know that Azure Drake existed and it was one of the most played cards of all time, and I think this is very comparable to Azure Drake, I'm going to say this is 4 stars. I still don't think that I would give this 5 stars because I don't think it reaches the Azure Drake levels of play because I think Hearthstone's just a different game these days. I don't think Azure Drake would be played that much in Hearthstone these days, so I can't in good conscience say like, oh shoot, I messed up. Hold up, let me clean my glasses real fast. We'll be right back, everybody. Sorry, YouTube. I'm probably gonna forget to edit this out, so sorry, YouTube. So anyway, I would say 4 stars, but not 5. And even then, I really, in my core of my bones, kind of think 3 stars, if I'm being truthful. Like, my instinct... So I talked about this on Angry Chicken a little bit, and I would love to have time to make a video on this, but I want to do what I call Ultra Instinct reviews. So normally when I do reviews, I'm trying to be very logical and reasonable and assess things, and I don't really use emotions or instincts much. I try to be very, like, calculated about the approach. Still, of course, subjective, but try as much as I can to be objective and like, break down numerically and sometimes I want to do Ultra Instinct reviews where it's just all emotion and instinct. And I just go, maybe we'll do that today because I think we'll have time. Where I just like react live and just like 2 stars, 2 stars, 3 stars, 4 stars. It's like where I let my instincts carry me.
Boys,
I want to try that and see how they compare. This chat is so calm and not spammy. Yeah, I know, right? Gaius, dude, thanks for the Twitch Prime sub, man. Thanks for the Twitch Prime sub. Is the full dump out? I don't know. We're just going through all the cards revealed. I haven't seen what's out just yet. So Skybarge up next. I haven't seen this at all. It's a 3 mana 2/5 mech for warrior. After you summon a pirate, deal 2 damage to a random enemy. Oh. Oh, that sounds pretty good.
Welcome.
Insane stat line on this for stickiness. I'm imagining you can build out a pretty decent pirate deck here. It can go face, it can trade, it's got mech synergies. This sounds really, really good. I think this looks like a 4-star card. It's doing a lot of good stuff. Cannon V2, yeah, Cannon and Wild is insane. I don't know that Standard has enough Pirates yet, but apparently you guys are saying Pirates looked really good on the reveal stream, so maybe it does. Gyofu, by the way, thanks for the 3 months,
Let's
and
do Galakrond, Pirate
Vortiger, thanks for the
Warrior,
tier
maybe.
1. And Tremudius, let's do Galakrond Pirate Warrior. Yeah, we will today. We have that one built. We're going to add these in. So let's see what else is new. So 4 stars there. We did Quartermaster. Any of these new?
Welcome. Boys, make some room by the hearth.
Oh, this one I haven't talked about yet.
Hey Regis, do you use beard oil?
I
Love
don't.
you.
No, I really don't, man. I just comb it. I think is the difference. Comb it and blow dry it. So this is Dark Skies for Warlock. It's 3 mana spell, deal 1 damage to your random minion, repeat for each card in your hand. I actually think this is pretty insanely good early game removal for a handlock deck. Like, you already have 6, 7, 8 cards in hand. You're going to be able to clear off, 2 to 3 early game minions from your opponent. I think this is solid. Of course, if handlock doesn't work, this won't get played, and therefore it will look bad. But characteristically speaking, I think this is probably at least a 3-star card, although arguably a 4-star card. And it interacts with spell damage in a pretty neat way. It scales with spell damage twice. The problem is you often kill off your own spell damage minion. It is kind of bad on your own board. I'm going to say 3 stars, I guess, on this one, since you kind of wreck your own board. Occasionally, it's going to be hard to play that one. Surging Tempest. I saw this one on stream. 1 mana, 1/3 elemental. Has +1 attack while you have overloaded mana crystals. I mean, yeah, 1/3s are good, honestly, with no text, as we saw with Dire Mole for a lot of decks. This has a positive text, some potential elemental synergies, overload synergies that make it a 2/3, which is really insane for 1 mana. And I think it will give Shaman a great way to open games. So this just looks like a 4-star card to me. I think it does a lot of really good stuff.
Hey, are you part to the early deck crafting? I made a big Paladin Thief Rogue and Death Rattle Rogue with Wax Dread. Would you like to try out one of them?
I am a part of that, I guess. I still don't have a lot of details. Although I made a little of my own decks already, KH. We're going to stick to our own decks. I don't normally play a lot of other people's decks. I normally try to stick to my own stuff. But I appreciate the interest, and hopefully we'll line up a little bit on our decks and we can learn from each other. So that said, moving on to Storm's Wrath. 1 mana spell, give your minions +1/+1. Overload 1. So it's a little bit worse than like Mark of the Lotus was back in the day. Better perhaps than Grim Rally in some ways for Warlock. I think we've seen these cards just work in the past, and Overload has
That's
synergies
fine
too.
too. I am hyped for yours.
I think, oh, thanks. Yeah, Cage, I appreciate that, dude. Thanks for not being, like, salty or anything. That's really nice. Some people get mad if I say no, but I'm glad you're understanding. But I think this looks really good, because Shaman likes to go wide board. They like overload synergies. Like, this with Thunderhead's just insane. This, again, looks like a 4-star card, which is a bit of a shame. I don't think we needed Shaman to get better. So, Invocation of Frost is a new 1 mana spell. It's an invoke card for Galakrond and Shaman. Freeze an enemy and invoke. Is it worth, somebody said on this one? Yeah, because I think this is better than like Zap, which a lot of Overload Shamans run right now anyway. So I think it's worth. So invoke Galakrond for the record. We haven't. Let's talk about Galakrond first. Galakrond is going to summon a 2/1 elemental with Rush when invoked, and when fully upgraded is going to summon 8/8 storms with Rush. I don't guess they show that here, do they? That's sort of annoying. But the 2/1s is what's going to happen. You're going to get a 2/1 anytime you invoke a card. So, for the record, with Invocation of Frost, you'll freeze an enemy and summon a 2/1 with Rush, which I actually think is really good for 1 mana. That's like basically Glacial Shard, but better. And Glacial Shard was a good card. Glacial Shard got into a lot of decks. So, this just looks good to me. I'm going to say 4 stars again. I mean, it's got to happen. Galakrond has to happen, so there's a risk that this is like a 2-star card. It's so conditional on so many of these because they're connected to a single card, which is an issue. But anyway, Galakrond, I actually think Galakrond looks insane. I think this is a really solid hero power and a solid invoke option too. I mean, this is comparable to like... It's not as good as like an odd paladin hero power, but it's much, much better than the default shaman hero power. It just keeps things moving. Galakrond is gonna suck. I don't think so. I think this is actually really good. It's 2 8/8s and 4 8/8s if you had the quest, although I don't think you'd run quest and Galakrond together, so that doesn't make sense. I would say 2 8/8s for 7 mana is and a 5/2 weapon is insane. This is probably, well, it's the strongest initiative-based Galakrond. 2 8/8s for 7 is like way better than like Spiteful Summoners who got played. And it's like Shaman is good at creating a ton of pressure and then just like overwhelming their opponent at some point. They reach a breaking point, and the 8/8s might do that. I think this is, I mean, I don't think this is crazy. It's not 5 stars to me, but
I bought a new cologne
it's
the other
solid.
day. My partner said, "Wow, you smell really fiery. What did you use?" It was the scent of dragons.
The scent of you're the worst, dude. Moist Flip Boy, you're banned. Thank you for the $1 though. I appreciate it. I don't know. We all had to suffer for that $1, so I guess it was money well spent. Money well spent. Money well spent. Zachdoll, I actually kind of agree with you. Unfortunately, I mean, it's an opportunity I literally can't pass it up. I have to do it, but I agree with you. I would prefer people didn't get early access, to be honest. Why on God's green earth do we have so many viewers?
Welcome.
I haven't even marketed the
Make
stream.
some room by the hearth, won't ya?
I guess you guys all stop by after the reveal, and thank you, man. That's crazy. You can play the quest after getting Galakrond? Yeah, that'd be weird, though. That'd be weird. Here's the deal with this Galakrond, right? I think the Invoke is amazing, because 2/1s with Rush are good in the early game. I don't think the hero power post Galakrond is amazing. Like, I think in the late game, 2/1s with Rush probably just kind of wither. They don't really do much. Like turn 8, it's like, okay, I got a 2/1 with Rush, right? That's not as good as like Battlecry Shaman. But I think the Battlecry on Galakrond itself is insane. Maybe one of the strongest. Particularly that it's not reactive. Most of them are a little more reactive. Because 2 8/8s with Rush is just busted. So I don't know. I'm kind of torn. Like the deck has to get there, obviously, or this isn't gonna work. I'm still gonna say 4 stars on this Galakrond because I don't actually think it's gonna make it right now, but I think there could be a world. Well, I don't know. It's always sharing the Battlecry Shaman rotation is part of the problem. It's always gonna be there. They rotate out together. I don't know if this is going to be better than Overload or Battlecry builds. I'm actually hard. I was really excited about the Battlecry on this, but I'm hesitating on the hero power. I'm going to say 3 stars on Galakrond. This Galakrond. I wanted to go 4 stars, but I'm going to say 3 stars. I think that's the most responsible choice. So here, this is a pretty crazy card. Dragon's Pack, 5 mana spell, summon 2 2/3 Spirit Wolves. So basically like Feral Spirit. And if you've invoked twice, give them +3/+3, which it's not hard to invoke twice in Shaman, as we'll see here in a moment. That means you get 2 5/6s. If you think about it, Feral Spirit's actually a 5 mana card. It's 3 mana with Overload 2. This is the same, but it has the crazy upside. Now, I mean, clearly
Super
Overload
hyped.
is not
3.
exactly 5 mana. I know there's a difference, but functionally, total mana cost is the same, and you get this potential insane upside. And you know, this is comparable to like Oasis Surger in a way. It's probably still worse because they don't have Rush, but it's pretty comparable to Oasis Surger, which is a very, very strong card. So I think this is a 4-star card. Although it seems irresponsible to give this 4 stars and Galakrond 3 stars, because it's like obviously they go together. And if I don't think Galakrond's compelling enough to give it 4 stars, how on earth could this possibly be a 4-star card, right?
Make some room by the
Although it's
hearth,
not much
won't
different than Serenite Chain Gang, which got ran at 4 mana too. So, who are all the Theorycraft streamers? I don't know, dude. I have no idea. I heard about this on Monday. I got a late invite. I think somebody else dropped out. I got a late invite. I don't think I was originally invited. I don't think I got all the details. So, I don't know, man. I still don't know. For some reason, I still want to give this 4 stars. I'm going to say 4 stars, despite the Galakrond getting 3. It may be fairly irresponsible, because look at this. Corrupt Elementalist, 5 mana, 3/3. Battlecry, invoke Galakrond twice. Super cool looking card art, by the way. So this is basically a 3/3 that summons two 2/1s with Rush, which is pretty solid, I'd say, for 5 mana. I don't think it's crazy solid, but good enough. Theorycraft stream starts in, I think, 1 hour and 15 minutes. But I need to like check my email and stuff to double check that, because again, I don't have all the details, man. I got a late invite and it was sort of haphazard, I think. Yes, it starts in 1 hour and 15 minutes. It runs for 5 hours. And then, I don't know, it's supposed to be announced in 30 minutes. I guess I really am not supposed to talk about it yet, but it seems like we've broken. You guys are asking me. I guess I put it in the stream title, maybe. I guess that's why. So, I don't know. I feel like it's got to be announced. I'm not at Blizz. No, I'm at home. Oh, they mentioned it in the reveal stream. Okay, good. Then I'm fine to talk about it. All right, sweet. I wondered why you guys all were like showing up and asking. All right, so did I give that a rating? Oh, no, I didn't. I'm going to say, I actually am going to say 3 stars on this. I don't think that's that crazy. I think the 2/1s don't do that much on turn 5, right? I think the 2/1s are pretty weak on turn 5. Like, Restless Mummy sometimes barely makes the cut on 4. Etc. Did they announce who was in it? Because I don't know who's in it. I don't know who we're going to be playing against. All right. Next up, the Bloodsail Flybooter. 1/1 Battlecry Pirate. Add 2 1/1 pirates to your hand in Rogue. I think this is really solid. Firefly-esque sort of thing. I mean, clearly not as good as trading as Firefly, but Rogue loves cheap cards in hand. Combo activators, Edwin setups. It's just what they like to do. And I guess this is kind of making that 2/2 pirate look a little better. But not that much better still. I don't really know if I like that still. Does Invoke activate hero power even if you haven't changed into Galakrond? Yes. As long as Galakrond's in your deck. If it's not in your deck, it doesn't do anything. But maybe Firebat said he was restarting stream at 4. Curious timing. Is that 4 his time? 4, and it should be, no, that would be too late. He lives in like Michigan, right? I think. Cannon Brush deck, maybe, yeah. I actually think this is a solid looking card. Again, it's just so conditional as so many cards in this expansion are. It feels kind of arbitrary giving out card ratings sometimes because it's like, well, pirates don't work. This is dead. But I actually, that may not be true. Maybe just with combo activators, this is good enough. I'm gonna say 4 stars. I think it fits Rogue really, really well. Whispers of Evil, 0 mana, add a lackey to your hand. I mean, lackeys are pretty good. We have had a lot of lackey generators for Eastern. No, that'd be way too late, right? Oh no, 4 Eastern is actually right. No, that's exactly right. Yes, I'm sure he's the part of it then. 0 mana, we have seen some 0 mana cycle stuff in Priest. I don't know, though. I don't know. Giveaway sub only. No. We're not starting them yet, by the way. We'll start them once the Theorycraft starts. I bought 5. And it's going to be NA only this time, too. I already bought the codes. I bought 5 $20 codes. I didn't get any from Blizzard this time because I already got them earlier from Battleground. So I'm supplying the codes myself this time. Songbird, I don't know. I didn't even watch the stream today. I mean, I watched the beginning. There's a lot of echo. I saw some cards that popped in here and there.
2 halves neutral, and I thought Druid spell was really good. Now it is. Just good in my opinion.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Its reinforcements got worse, huh? I actually don't like this card that much, guys. I think it's fine, but I just don't know why Priest would really, really want to run this. Drops enabled. Are there drops? Firebat mentioned something he wasn't supposed to talk about at the very end of his stream. What does that mean? 5 stars for art. It is funny art, but I like the lackeys popping in there. Refresh the full set is out. We will, but I just haven't talked about these yet, so I got to get through these first. I'm going to say 3 stars on this. I don't really like it that much. You guys like it more than me. I almost want to just say 2. I'm going to say 2 stars. Screw it. 2 stars. I don't like it. 2 stars. 2 stars. Grave Rune. Give him in death rattle. Summon 2 copies of this. That is very awkward wording. This is a spell. Should say of itself or something, right? I don't know. This is a very weird wording. Oh, the king. Yeah, he's just talking about theory crafting then. I'm gravely sorry to ruin this. Oh, boy. This is the minion. I know, but it's weird. It's just weird wording. I would say itself. Well, I guess once it's on the minion, whatever, it's fine. We know what it means. We all know what it means. So you give this to something like, I don't know, whatever, obsidian statue. You're really excited because you get 2 obsidian statues back. It's obviously not the best example. Cube in spell form that doesn't destroy the minion. That's a good way to think about it. It's a pretty good way to think about it. Although sometimes I liked that the cube kind of nested the minions in a way, right? Protected them in some way. They changed it at the last second from double ancestral spirit. That's a good way to put it too. I think this is reasonable. Leroy, yeah, card type defender, good examples. Leroy is not great because you give your opponent the initiative, right? Like, well, I guess if you Leroyed and then traded into a taunt, but you wouldn't. That's not what you'd be doing with this. I have not seen the Invoke Warrior up yet. No, we're getting there. We're getting there. We're catching up. I think this looks fine. I don't know who exactly wants to run this. It might be cool things like Prophet Velen or something to get more Velens. I kind of dig it. I'd say 3 stars. I don't think a lot of decks are gonna want to run this, but I could imagine a Death Rattle deck or some deck that's got some key combo, some setup. I'm fine with that. Disciple of Galakrond, 1 mana, 1/2, Battlecry, Invoke Galakrond. So basically, it's a priest card, so the invoke for that is add a random priestman into your hand. I think this is fine. It's just, 1 mana, 1/2s are good to get things moving. Priest likes early minions 2s. They can build off of them with buffs and stuff. Of course, it has to go in a Galakrond specific deck, but that's probably fine.
Welcome.
Get a grindier deck moving early, just get the gears turning.
Love having the
Looks
day
really
off
solid.
to watch my favorite streamer.
We know
Happy
with like,
7
Town
months at
Crier
Regis
that these
Kilden.
sorts of minions feel fine. I mean, honestly, you're gonna get a pretty garbage minion back a lot of the times, but it almost doesn't matter. You're just building resources and building early board. So, I want to say 4 stars, but I think I'll say 3 just to hesitate a little because I don't know for sure a Galakrond deck is going to work. I think it's okay, though. It probably will. Let's see what else is new. We may have to refresh here. I think we might be running out of new cards that I haven't talked about yet. Oh, we haven't seen this. Lightforged Zealot. Oh, goodness. What? A 4 mana 4/2 Battlecry. If your deck has no neutral cards, equip a 4/2 True Silver Champion. That's insane. Oh, I haven't talked about Murozond yet. No, you're right. We need to talk about Murozond. That's insane. Because you play a 4/2 True Silver Champion anyway for 4 mana, and you're happy about it. So you just have this condition here of what they're calling a pure Paladin deck, where you don't run any neutral cards, you only run class cards, which frankly, I don't think is that bad for Paladin. And they even said it was a good deck on stream, too. That looks really, really good. I'm going to say 4 stars. It's just doing something you want, and you get a free 4/2. And apparently, it's not even that hard of a condition to match. So I think I might have skipped over Murozond. Did I skip over Murozond? You guys were all talking about Murozond. You said I missed a dragon. What did I miss? Oh, here he is. Murozond, 8 mana, 8/8. This came out this morning, but I haven't talked about it yet. Play all cards your opponent played last turn. This one's really intriguing. The problem with this card is its interaction with battle cries. So many good cards in Hearthstone are battle cries, and this does not replicate battle cries. It just plays the card. So if your opponent plays, Shudderwalk, you just get a 6/6. You don't get a bunch of Shudderwalk battle cries. And I'm afraid that means this has a lot of dead turns, because so many cards are battle cries. So many cards are battle cries. It's probably a pretty decent stat dump. Like you get an 8/8, you get a 6/6. I don't know if you're really excited about that for 8 mana, though. I don't know if you're excited about that. Just a 6/6. Yeah, I think an 8/8 and a 6/6 isn't that crazy good anymore for 8 mana, right? What did it do on the reveal stream? Did it summon a bunch of stuff? I mean, here's the deal, right? Like, max, you're going to get 10 mana worth of stuff and an 8/8 for free. So this is kind of like an 8/8 Arcane Tyrant in the best case scenario, right? Like, an 8/8... Yes, if your opponent plays Shudder, it's an 8 mana 14/14. Yes, and I don't think that's very good. That's kind of what I mean. I don't think that's very good. It copied 2 5/6 wolves. Well, that sounds fine, yeah. You can replay hero cards, but again, you don't get their battle cries. You'd really just be getting their hero power, which in some cases would certainly be fine. It's all about the spells, I guess, yeah. But like, here's the thing about spells, right? If your opponent plays a Flame Strike, and they spend all their mana playing Flame Strike, isn't Flame Strike going to be kind of bad for you? Or if they play spells that summon minions, aren't you going to want to have something like a Flame Strike? You know what I mean? Like, yes, you guys saw it summon 2 5/6 taunts, which are very good at reacting to 2 5/6 taunts, because they had taunt, but you saw one spell that summoned taunt minions. I feel like the problem with this card is that it's always going to do the opposite thing of what, or it's going to do the same thing of what your opponent did, which in most cases you're going to want it to do the opposite thing of what your opponent did, right? So in other words, if they build a lot of minions out, you're going to build a lot of minions out, but then they can just hit you in the face and kill you because you didn't react to their minions. If they play big removal spells, you're going to play a big removal spell, but you won't have anything to remove because they spent all their mana playing big removal spells. So I feel like it's always the opposite of what you need it to be, right? Am I crazy to think about that? I feel like everybody's just saying it does things, but you're not contextualizing the things it does. If you know what I mean. I'm not, by the way, I'm not saying it's a bad card. I'm just trying to rein in the excitement a little bit. It does look insane, by the way. It looks so cool. I feel like it's often doing... in other words, in Hearthstone, you don't typically want to mirror your opponent's plays. You want to do the opposite of your opponent's plays. It clears the board and fills yours. Well, not really. I mean, you get an 8/8, I guess. There's always an 8/8. Like, that's something you definitely need to keep in mind. There's always an 8/8. So there's like this base thing happening that you're adding or subtracting from.
Played Blizzard 2 Frost Rays Chenvela and Dismay because opponent played Galaxy.
Blizzard, 2 Frost Rays, Chinvala, and Dismay. I don't even know if I know what Dismay is, but does it play in the same order? I don't know. Maybe. I actually think this is like a 3-star card, guys. I don't know. I'm probably going to get hate for that. It feels like a 3-star card to me. It feels like really fun. Random order? Okay. Hero cards. I don't think it's that good with hero cards, though. You don't get the battle cries, guys. You just get the hero power. Battle cries do not activate. Unless they totally change how the game works.
What order does it play them in?
Random, apparently, Parthamore. Random, people are saying. That clip will haunt you. It's okay. That's good. That means we learned something. Test says the same thing, Wolfgang, and Test does not replay battle cries. Test says the same thing. Puzzle box would be very fun, yeah. 4 stars? Maybe 4 stars, but I actually think 3 is the right spot to land. So, first off, what deck runs this? Is it a Control Priest? We haven't even talked about, like, deck context. Is it a Control Priest? You run it in a tempo priest, like maybe in a mid-rangey priest, I'd feel better about this, where the 8/8 matters more. I don't know if a control priest cares about the 8/8 as much. I think there is some interesting application of the fact that it existing makes your opponent hesitate. I think there's some power there, but that only matters if it exists, like if it gets played, you know. If it doesn't get played, then card dump drop. I know we're going through all the cards that I haven't reviewed yet. We're spending a lot of time on this one. I'm gonna lock in 3 stars, guys. I hope I'm wrong. I love the look of it. I'm gonna play the crap out of this card. I'm gonna try my best to make it a 5-star card. I want it to be good because it sounds amazing, but it sounds so much fun. I'm just not convinced at the moment. So next up is the Lightforged Crusader, a 7-mana 7/7 battlecry. If your deck has no neutral cards, add 5 random paladin cards to your hand. Okay. That's kind of cool. It's a big resource generator, kind of a hand refill, which could matter in an aggressive deck like a Divine Favor that's a top-end curve of an aggressive deck. You know, you try to aggro your opponent. If things backfire, you dump one big final threat, you reload, and try to go again, which aggro decks often need. So I like this fine. Yeah, this looks solid to me. Again, in the kind of pure Paladin world, which apparently sounds like a good deck according to Blizzard. You don't run a neutral deck. You don't run a neutral-less deck that is aggressive. I don't know if that's true, actually. Paladin has a lot of aggressive stuff, like this new card, Skyclaw. And just a lot of fast things in Paladin. Odd Pally top end, yeah. So, I don't know. I'm actually going to say 4 stars in this one. I think it looks really solid, along with another pure Paladin deck. Both of those sound really cool. Skyclaw is a new 3-mana 1/2 mech. Your other mechs have +1 attack, so a little bit of a mech follow-up card here. But also, Battlecry summon 2/1 Microcopters, which in a way are 2/1s instead of 1/1s, but often not
Paladins
as well,
are all
depending
about
on
purity.
if you have initiative or not. Yes, they are indeed, Barthamore. Pure Paladin. So pure, just like Regis. That's why I'm wearing a yellow shirt. So, I don't know, this card's a little awkward to me. Like, we have seen, like, you know, what is it? The Micro Summoner girl, what's her name? The 3-mana that summons 2/1/1s. It's kind of similar to that, but better, right? Because it's a class card. I don't know, it's a pretty good follow-up on, like, Glowtron. That's kind of neat. I don't fall in love with this card, though. I don't think the power level's crazy, so I'm going to... Microtech Controller, thank you, yes. I'm going to say 3 stars on Skyclaw. I think it's playable, but won't be super exciting. Righteous Cause, new side quest, summon 5 minions, give your minions +1/+1. This actually sounds pretty crazy in an aggro, you know, Skyclaw Paladin deck. The challenge for this quest is going to be, when you summon that 5th minion, the reward goes off immediately. So you're going to feel kind of sad if you only have 1 minion on board at that stage. Also, you're probably not super excited to top deck this. I wonder if it's worth it. Because it's like, as soon as you're not dominating, this card gets really bad. And if you're dominating anyway, does this card make a difference, right? That's the issue for me. It's like, oh, I've got 5 minions on board, and that makes this really good. Or I've got even 3 minions on board, and that makes this pretty good. But it's like, it requires you to kind of play poorly sometimes too, where it's like, oh, I've summoned 4 and I need to play this thing, but it's like, oh, I'm gonna trigger my Righteous Cause. And it's like, oh, I need to wait till I can summon 3 things at once. Maybe another Odd Pally card. Yeah, that's easy to get wide boards for Odd Pally. So I'm gonna go ahead and just drop this to 3 stars because I think it's a little too conditional and awkward sometimes. Strength in Numbers, new Druid side quest, 1 mana, spend 10 mana on minions, summon a minion from your deck. I actually like this one a little better. I don't think Druid has much trouble spending 10 mana on minions, and the payoff here could be pretty big in the right kind of deck. Right? I don't know, though. It's still just awkward to top deck these sorts of things. These are like just, are they ever worth slots in your deck? I'm just not sure side quests are ever good. I don't know. They don't start in your hand, no. It's insane if you play this on turn 1, though, is the thing. Although it takes if you play this on 1, you have 2 mana, then you have 3 mana, that's 5. Then it would take 4 turns for this to activate from turn 1 if you played all of your mana on quests. That actually seems kind of bad too. So it's bad when you top deck and it's bad early. I actually don't think this is very good. I was excited about this when I first saw it, but now that I break it down, I don't really think it makes sense. Because yeah, if you're trying to get it early, you need 2 mana minions, 3 mana minions, which makes summoning worse. I'm gonna say 2 stars. I don't know if the payoff is there, and the deck construction requirements are too hard. So let's refresh. Apparently there's a ton of new cards. Oh, yeah, okay. Well, maybe not a ton. I don't know, a handful though. Rolling Fireball, a new 5 mana spell. Deal 8 damage to a minion. Oh, I remember seeing this card, yeah. Deal 8 damage to a minion. Any excess damage continues to the left or right. This is such a cool mechanic. So we already had that Flame Lance that was deal 8 for 5, and that was actually a decent card. Particularly in Arena, it was really good. And this just feels better. It's kind of like a Meteor in some ways as well. I guess it just picks a direction. Why no 1-star? There'll be some 1-star cards today, I'm sure. Just wait and see. We haven't really had any yet, though, I think. I think most of them have been pretty solid. I think this and the new Choose One are both terrible. You think this is terrible? I don't think this is terrible. It's like you kill a 5-drop and you kill a 3-drop next to it. That's actually sort of solid, right? Well, it's actually worse than Explosive Shot, maybe, but it is more flexible. Particularly if you hit, like, a 3... like, if there's 3 3/3s on board, this, I guess, doesn't kill the 3rd one, huh? Maybe it's just better design than it is actually good. Theory crafting starts in, like, 50 minutes, apparently, although I still don't have details to participate. So, I don't know. I was told I'm participating. I'm planning it. I've got graphics made. I bought stuff to give away, but they still haven't sent me my details yet. So, I don't know. We'll see. I think I was a late invite. I think somebody else must have dropped out or something.
It picked directions. If you target leftmost to rightmost, then direction is guaranteed.
True. It's just positionally, it's got to line up for you, right? It's positionally got to line up. So, like, if there's a 2 and then a 5 and then a 3, you know, like, do you pick the 3 and kill the 5, or do you? Yeah, I guess that's what you do. Yeah. Well, never mind. I don't know. You could probably usually line this up. Here's the deal. I think this is fine when you get it off Discover Effects, but you probably don't run it in your deck, and I think that makes this a 2-star card. I don't think most people would actually run this in their deck. On BattleNet, it shows you on the cover art, Regis. What? I'm on BattleNet? Okay, well, they definitely think I'm participating, as I thought, too. I'm pulling it up. Okay. Mana Giant, 8 mana, 8 elemental, costs 1 less for each card you've played this game that didn't start in your deck. So basically a Mana Cyclone support card. You gotta play 8 cards that didn't start in your deck. That's actually a lot when you think about, like, Quest Mage back in the day. Like, even getting to 6 was kind of a struggle. I think that means this is gonna be sort of slow. I meant, like, the event cover art. Oh, yeah, I am there. Okay, cool. Who else is in there? Trump, Kalento, Crip, Firebat, Slissa, RDU, Asmo. Oh, is that Toast? Is that Control, Zalay, and Ali Straza?
Boys,
Okay, sweet.
make some room by the hearth, won't ya?
Good luck
It's,
in theory stream. Wish I could just see you
fair
deck
enough.
building
There it is.
instead, but oh well.
I didn't mean to open this, but how do I? It won't let me go back. What the heck? Okay. See if I can figure this out. Okay. Fixed. Fixed.
Welcome, boys.
Jacob,
make
thank
some
you,
room
man.
By the hearth, won't ya?
We did do some deck building last night, technically, if you want to, and I'm sure we'll do some more today. I think this is 2 stars. I think this is going to be too hard to get out. I think it's, I mean, yes, maybe getting it to 4 mana is fine, but getting it to like 3/2 where it gets really exciting, I think that's going to be tough. Violet Spellwing, 1 mana, 1 elemental death rattle. Add an arcane missile spell to your hand. Oh, okay, so kind of like the hunter dude, the little hunter butterfly guy. But it's always arcane missiles. I actually think that's kind of good. Arcane Missiles is a nice little tool to have early. It's also just really good, cheap spell fodder for your Sorcerer's Apprentice, and, well, actually, for this guy, for the record, and your Chinvala, maybe. I think you could even run this, perhaps, in a deck that didn't care about cheap synergies like that, and just to have ways to react to the early board. I think this is a solid little tool. Good way to start out games in a variety of different decks. Basically, this could answer like the first couple minions your opponent plays, maybe by itself. And like lackeys and those sorts of things as well. I'm going to say, I kind of hate to give this 4 stars. I'm going to say 3 stars, but I think 4 is actually, no, let's go 4 stars. I like it. 4 stars. Let's go 4 stars. Elemental Allies, 1 mana spell, side quest, plain elemental 2 turns in a row. Oh. Draw 3 spells from your deck. Oh my goodness. This actually feels like a worthwhile side quest to me. So first off, it's a cheap spell which Mage likes anyway. The reward is a pretty big payoff. Like drawing 3 cards is a great reward. You have it's not too difficult to achieve, and you have some control over when you achieve it. You kind of lock yourself into a game plan. I may give this one 3 stars. 5-star side quest. Man, I don't know about that. You do have to run some elementals. I think maybe still 3 stars, but I do like it though. Art's cool too. I like Reno chilling in the water elemental there. It's pretty good stuff. 3.5. I'd say 3.5 is about where I feel like too. I don't think I'm ready to give this 4 stars yet though. We just haven't seen enough elemental precedents yet. And you do sort of lock yourself into turns sometimes, which is awkward. Like, oh, well, I've got to play an elemental this turn, and maybe that eats out a little too much mana. So I'd say 3 stars. Aeroponics, are all of the Druid cards just like puns and portmanteaus or whatever that word is? 5 mana, draw 2 cards, cost 2 less for each treant you control. Oh, interesting. So this is just free if you play it after the Forest Aid. No, not even. Oh my god, it's 2 less for each tree you control. So this is often free. You only have to have 3 treants to make this free. This is kind of interesting, I think. Again, totally conditional on treants. Like, obviously, we don't know if treants are going to work or not, but this feels like it could be a great card for treants. It's not hard to get this down to 1 mana, right? Very easy to get this to 1 mana. Very easy. I like this, actually. I think this might be a 4-star card. 1 mana, draw 2, sort of nuts. I hate this expansion. All of the cards are so like deck locked. It's like it's so weird rating them because it's actually better for Trump for once, I think. Like Trump, he has a much easier time than normal because he's like, oh, well, Treant Druid's not going to be any good, so these all are bad cards, right? Like it's harder now for me than normal because if you're just talking about like efficiency, you know, comparables, like deck fit, this card makes a lot of sense, but it's just so binary in whether or not Treant Druid works. It's like when you look at characteristics, this card is great. When you talk about
I am excited
like,
for
actual
the
reality of it.
This set looks so fun.
Who knows? It's totally binary. I'm gonna say 3 stars on this one again. Shrubador, a 2 mana, summon a 2/2 treant for 1/1. That's actually pretty good. Get some decent bodies out there, get your treants moving. It seems fine. The artwork is a bit interesting. As she's dropping a pot, it looks like maybe. That artwork doesn't read very well, I'm gonna be honest. Looks a little washed out. That's some of my least favorite artwork I've seen in Hearthstone. You can't really tell that these pots have a tree in it. What I think is a tree just kind of looks like a part of the wall. Oh, it's a hot air balloon she's in, I guess. But I don't know. I don't love this. That's an acorn? Oh, maybe, but why does it look just like this? These aren't acorns. That's not an acorn, and it looks exactly the same as this. It's missing the shrub. Oh, well, that would help. Oh, the artwork's not right. Oh, okay. I was gonna say, this artwork feels very weird. It feels very weird. Alright, that makes more sense. That makes way more sense. It's supposed to be an acorn and she's in a balloon. I know she's in a balloon, but this looks just like this. This looks like a pot, and these look like pots. So it's weird. But anyway, I think the card's fine. 3 stars. Solid card. So I think there's more neutrals probably we missed down here. I'm gonna guess there's a lot of like 1-star garbage here at the bottom. Like always. Although, I don't know, what in the world? Sometimes you have to like scroll all the way down on this webpage to make it work. Search neutral. Can we just filter neutral? There we go. Okay. Evasive Chimera, 2 mana, 2/1, Poisonous Beast, can't be targeted by spells or hero powers. 5 stars in Battlegrounds, but that just doesn't seem worth it to me in regular Hearthstone. I mean, it's kind of cool that it can't be pinged, I guess, but neither can Stubborn Gastropod, right? Yeah, Stubborn Gastropod was like okay in Arena, but not good in Constructed, so I don't see how this one gets there. This feels like a 1-star card. Grizzled Wizard, a 2 mana 3/2 battlecry swap. Hero powers their opponent until next turn. What? No, there's no reason you would want to do that almost ever. I mean, I guess you could occasionally steal a cool battlecry shaman hero power, but there'd be so many classes where you wouldn't want to do that. So I guess 1 star. Tasty Flyfish, 2 mana 2/2. Oh my god, where is Sergeant Smokey? It's the Dragon Murloc synergy card he's always been looking for. Where is he? Highlighted message, hello Japan, I see it. I see it. Give a dragon in your hand, +2/+2. I mean, hand buffs have traditionally not been great, but there is maybe this like hand buff dragon paladin thing that's kind of coming along. And I don't think this would be the worst card to add into that deck. I really don't think it would be the worst card. It's a 2/2 stat line. I'm going to give this 2 stars. I'm not going to give it... I think this is a 2-star card. Firehawk. That looks sick. 3 mana, 1/3 elemental. Battlecry gain 1 attack for each card in your opponent's hand. So often going to be like a 7/3. But it's the same problem that other card had. It's just that it still dies the same way to all early game minions, which just does not make it exciting enough, I think. It's kind of cool in an aggro deck, maybe. Like, there could be worlds where your opponent just can't answer this and you just overwhelm them. It's kind of got that, like, vicious fledgling, like, oh my god, I don't have an answer to the Firehawk, what do I do? You know? And you just get dinged for 7 or something. I'm going to say 2 stars, because I think there's a world where this is possible. There's actually a chance this is like a 5-star card. I think this could be like a sleeper 5-star card. Because there have been worlds where Vicious Fledgling was good, right? Like sometimes you just play the Fledgling and it doesn't get answered. And it, you know, dings your opponent for 6 or 7. The difference is the Fledgling gains health and survivability. This does not gain health and survivability, so I think it's very unlikely. The Gobo Glide Tech, a 3 mana 3/3. If you control a mech, gain 1/1 and Rush. Oh. So 3 mana 4/4 with Rush. Okay. It's kind of cool for mech decks, I guess. It's not a mech itself, which can limit your magnetic plays on future turns, but that's not too bad. This actually looks kind of decent. I think I got to give this at least 3 stars. I could envision this going in a tempo mech deck. Could envision that. Living Dragon Breath. That guy looks cool. 3 mana 3/4 elemental. Your minions can't be frozen. That's a wicked cool effect. I don't think it's a good one, but it's wicked cool. Pun intended, I guess. Yeah. I mean, if elementals ever take off, this guy could definitely be a part of it. It does feel like a custom Hearthstone card. I feel like I've seen this 3 times. I'm gonna say 2 stars. I don't think you'd play it, but it's not a 1-star card feeler. 4 mana 2/6 with Rush and Taunt. Oh man, so we got some Stegodon creep here. Just straight up got Rush, and it's a beast. I think this is maybe okay. I don't think this card's that bad. I honestly, I don't know if I have seen these, Roshio. I don't really remember seeing these. I thought I'd seen every card, but maybe they didn't show us some of the neutral garbage. Because I really don't remember these. Even the artwork doesn't look familiar. And when I did see them, I saw them each for about 5 seconds, so I don't remember most of them anyway. I'm gonna give this 2 stars, maybe even 3. I kind of think it's like close. I'm really sad that the codes are NA only. I'm sorry, dude. That's just all I got. That's the best I can do. It's the best I can do. 5 mana 3/3 Murloc Skyfin. If you're holding a dragon, summon 2 random Murlocs. I don't think that's very good. Random Murlocs on average are going to be pretty bad synergy cards that don't really contribute to much. And again, we get this Dragon Murloc hybrid. Sergeant Smokey must be losing his mind. Losing his mind. But I don't think this is very good. 2 stars. Gyrocopter, 6 mana, 4/5 with Rush and Wind Fury. Oh my god. Interesting. So it's it's just again creeping over Wind Fury Harpy in a variety of ways. It's got synergy and Rush. Man, with Magnetic, this is kind of crazy. I don't hate this again. It's a little slow for mechs. Like, mechs have traditionally wanted to play a little faster. It does trade kind of favorably, though. I mean, it's like Unleash the Beast is a playable card. I think this is 3 stars. This is 3 stars. Yeah, you can't Ziliax at same turn. Or War Gear at same turn. Without discounts. You could discount fairly easily with whatchamacallit, Galvanizer. Blazing Battle Mage, a 1 mana 2/2 neutral. Wow. Does this get played over 1/3s in some aggro decks? I think so. I think it does, because it kills a lot of like 1/1s still favorably and 1/2s. It trades into 1/2s. 3 stars. Man. We've already done all these.
Do you think they are adding cards specifically because they want them in Battlegrounds?
Not yet, no. I think these were all designed like before the even knew Battlegrounds existed. Not yet. Is that it? Man, did we like only give 1 or 2 cards 1 star this entire expansion? What? I feel like there weren't just the utter garbage cards that we normally see. Usually there's some cards that are just clearly underpowered. And I don't feel like there were any. Did I miss any other cards? We've done all these. I don't think there's anything left. Oh, wait, I didn't see this. Squall Hunter, 4 mana, 5/7, spell damage, +2, overload 2. Oh, interesting. Wow, I sort of think that's good. Of course, great stat line. Overload synergies are already decent, and spell damage in Shaman is actually kind of crazy. I kind of like it. Oh my god. We've seen 4 mana spell damage +2 cards be run anyway. Not necessarily in Shaman, but Evolved Kobold was a card that got played some in Mage. Huh. It's a little weaker than Flame Wraith Faceless Body, but close. And spell damage upside for either removal or pressure. Like, just Lightning Storm the crap out of mid-game boards, and it even like curves with Lightning Storm as well into turn 5 Because Lightning Storm costs 3 and you're overloaded 2. But also just like zaps and... I kind of dig it. Oh, the new Lightning Breath too? Oh yeah, we haven't seen warrior cards yet, I feel like. You're right, yeah. I think this is a 4-star card. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. Oh, we haven't seen this. Rain of Fire. Deal 1 damage to all characters. Huh. So a whirlwind effect that hits face. I think this is really good because Warlock likes to damage himself. Whirlwind effects are already solid. We know whirlwinds can be decent. Yeah, this looks good. 4 stars. God, I've given so many 4-star ratings. Ugh, stressing me out. Warrior, yeah, we missed some warrior cards. Oh, Ritual, Chopper, Battlecry, Invoke, Galakrond. That is insane. So it's a 4-2 on the first attack. Because you gain 3 attack. So it's a 2-mana 4-2 weapon. Oh my god. That's really good, right? And then it's still a 1-1 after, which isn't bad. I mean, it's still a ping afterwards, which is solid. You need pings in the early game. Alright, well that's 4 stars easy. Maybe even 5. That seems really good. How is it a 4-2? Because Galakrond's hero power is +3 attack this turn, and when you invoke, you gain the hero power effect. So it's a 1-2, but you gain 3 attacks, so it's a 4-2 weapon the turn it's played, because you're invoking Galakrond. Man. I don't think I can really in good conscience give this 5 stars. But it sure seems strong. I'd say 4 easy. Awaken, invoke Galakrond to deal 1 damage to all minions. Okay, this is a little more awkward for sure. Like, it's Heroic Strike almost and Whirlwind having a baby, but it's like, how are you going to use this? Galakrond decks are, I think, going to be more aggressive, and I don't know. This just doesn't feel right. I guess if you have, you know, Frothing Berserker on board, you're pretty happy. But in many cases, I think this feels a little bit awkward. It's swipe. I guess that's kind of one way to think about it. It is kind of a swipe. A swipe where you take damage. Okay. All right, swipe. You've actually convinced me. Yes. It is basically a 3-mana swipe because you're dealing 4 to 1 unit and 1 to everything else. Okay. Yes, I think you're right, actually. It's not quite as good as swipe because of like taunt restrictions and you hurt your own board as well, but it is sometimes a swipe. I kind of agree with you, Squeaker. I don't think there's enough invoke cards. Second Swing of Death Spite. Fair enough. Sure, that too, yeah. I actually sort of like it. I'm going to say 3 stars. Ramming Speed. Force a minion to attack one of its neighbors. So it's a 1-use Super Collider, but with no face damage taken. This is kind of an interesting removal card for like a control deck. If your opponent plays 2 big things, 2 8/8 rush minions off of Shaman Galakrond, they just kill each other. Yeah, I dig it. 3 stars. I think it's fine. Deal 1 to all minions. Yeah, why are we saying that? What do you mean? Yeah, we can read. We know. I said it's swipe that can't go face, but your 3 attack can still go face. So you can still do damage. Skyraider, 1-mana 1/2 pirate. Add a random pirate to your hand. That seems really good. Just like the other priest card we saw, the invoke priest card. It's adding a random thing into your hand, but 1-mana 1/2s have been pretty solid in Hearthstone lately. It's important to just get the gears turning. So yeah, I think this looks really cool. I'm gonna say 3 stars. Playable. Maybe Pirate Warrior is good enough that this is actually just a 4-star card. Maybe it's 4 stars. You got Skyraider into Ritual Chopper and some follow-up pirates. Let's say 4 stars.